Just like that, the co-main event is upon us. Let us get you the tail of the tape. It's brought to you by Metro by T-Mobile. Catch all the action with Metro by T-Mobile's knockout coverage and unlimited data. Iaquinta 32. Dan Hooker will be 30 in February. Hooker, one of the tallest lightweights in the division. He's got 2 inches on Iaquinta, 5 inches in reach for Dan the Hangman Hooker. All right, now to get us started for the co-main, here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the co-main event of the evening, presented by Nemiroff, bold character since 1872. And now, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC lightweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 19 wins, 8 losses. He stands 6 feet tall, weighing in at 155 pounds. Fighting out of Auckland, New Zealand, Dan the Hangman Hooker! And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 14 wins, 5 losses, 1 draw. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighing in at 155 pounds. Fighting out of Woodstock, New York, USA, presenting the number 6 ranked lightweight contender in the world, Raging Al Iaquinta! And when the action begins, our referee in charge, John Sharp.
John Sharp, our referee. Red De La Cruz, thank you, dear. Ready to go round 1 of a possible 3 high stakes in the UFC's lightweight division, in which there is just no margin for error.
No, I mean, those guys, they are so deep in this division in terms of talent. Deepest and best division in the UFC.
Tonight's Fight Clock brought to you by Metro by T-Mobile. Catch all the action with Metro by T-Mobile's knockout coverage and unlimited data. Iaquinta in black, Hooker in white.
Let's see how quickly Hooker starts to try to fight behind the jab. He thought that he could control this fight behind this jab. You saw Al struggle at times with the jab from Habib and also against Cowboy Cerrone last.
Brad Riddell got this city kickboxing evening off to an outstanding start on ESPN2 earlier. Dan Hooker will try to keep it going here. Not unlike Dustin Poirier, Dan Hooker's success as a featherweight sort of kept him from moving up to 155 pounds, but once he did so, 83% winning rate.
A lot of times that's what it takes, right? Whenever you outgrow a weight class, you try to hang on to it. When you go up and realize that everything's going to be okay, then you go, okay, I should have did this a long time ago, and that's what happened with Dan Hooker, also with Dustin Poirier, who seems to be now growing out of the 155-pound division, may end up being a 70-pounder.
Both fighters landing in that exchange.
Oh! Hooker's piecing them up right now. That will benefit Al. Grab a leg. You don't have to finish the takedown. Just grab it. Make him think that this is not a striking fight.
Good right hand a moment ago over the top for Iaquinta.
Look at how big Dan Hooker is at 155. How could he ever have fought at featherweight?
Remarkable.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. He's a big guy.
Oh, Hooker starting to put it together on the feet, goes up top and then challenges down low and lands.
Al's starting to switch now. He's going southpaw because he has to. He's taking way too many of those low leg kicks. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh my God, the ref was like, stop. Al's like, no, no, I got a leg. That's crazy.
Yeah. Can't recall having seen that before.
Iaquinta goes to a crackdown position. Elbow by Hooker.
Oh, big elbows from Dan Hooker.
Al's got to change something here. He can't stay here.
Hooker now applying pressure on the neck.
Oh, right to the mount. Iaquinta gives his back. Hooker's got 2 hooks in. Ha! Hooker's got 2 hooks in.
There you go.
How funny. He's attacking the rear choke here. Iaquinta has to stay patient here, stay calm. Don't panic and rush. Move that body triangle over to his left so he can try to escape this. Control the top hand. Very smart by Iaquinta.
Iaquinta, the Matt Serra Jiu-Jitsu purple belt.
There you go. He moved that body triangle so Hooker let it go. Just a real good job of controlling the choke hand.
Yes. Hold it tight out. Looking good.
Early advantage in terms of the significant strikes for Dan Hooker as we come up on 1 minute to go here in round 1 of this co-main event.
Watching Dan Hooker fight, even when he was struggling against Edson Barbosa, you knew that this kid was so extremely talented and unbelievably tough. So for him to be out ahead right now is not surprising.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Iaquinta will have to check some of these kicks.
Yeah,
he's taking way too many of them already. Now he's knocking him down when he's landing them. Oh.
Dan Hooker landing at a 63% clip here early on. Iaquinta lunges, unable to land.
Watch for Dan Hooker to start throwing big body kicks and high kicks.
Strong start for the Kiwi.
Right here, that outside low leg kick did a lot of damage to Iaquinta in the first round. Now look at the takedown defense of Hooker. Goes to the butt, sits the corner, starts to elbow Al here. Eventually, Al has to let go of the leg, and Dan Hooker was the one that actually secured this takedown and started working from the back. A lot of big damage from that position for Dan Hooker.
Everything's good, right? We can't stay at range with him. We can't take those over.
Yeah.
You know, shit's gonna go down. It's gonna go down punching range. All right, just keep me out.
Any questions, any problems with anything? Just respect that calf kick. Come on, and watch the knees.
That single, run the pipe just to make him go to all fours and go towards the back.
Come on now, we got to pick it up this round. Come on, Al.
Right after tonight's main event, don't miss a recap of all the action from Australia on the UFC 243 post show on ESPN+. Chael Sonnen and Dominic Cruz will join me to break it all down right after the main event. It will be live on ESPN+. Your thoughts on the messaging there from Matt Serra and Ray Longo in terms of what Iaquinta needs to do to make the requisite adjustments?
Very direct, right? They said, hey, if it's going to go down, it's going to go down from punching range. Ray wants him to just respect the calf kicks a little bit, but he wants him to get close. Can't stay at range with this guy.
Potent jab there from Dan Hooker. Another stance switch there from Iaquinta. Closer once again goes high with the kick. Iaquinta counters.
This is where they want him, John. They want him closer. They want him in range so he can get the Hooker. He cannot fight Dan Hooker at range. He's too big, too long.
Nice inside leg kick lands for Raging Al. Hooker in a pretty good zone with his striking early on. 6 minutes into this one.
He's comfortable. You know, there's nothing right now that's making him... There's nothing that's worrying him right now. He's fighting in his groove. He's found his range. He's found his flow. Iaquinta has to disrupt that flow.
You can certainly appreciate the challenges when you are the shorter fighter in terms of length.
Yeah, you got to get close. You got to be in his chest. Iaquinta needs to put this fight in the chest of Dan Hooker. Bury his head in there and just go to walk.
Only a couple takedown attempts for Iaquinta thus far. Nothing doing on that one. Hooker wisely welcomes Al back to his feet.
Al can hardly get any pressure down on that front leg now.
Yeah.
He's going to almost have to fight southpaw the entire time. Because every time he puts that left leg in front, Dan Hooker digs that low leg kick right into there.
12 leg kicks have already landed for Dan Hooker.
And the vast majority of them are on the calf. And as we've spoken about many times, it doesn't take many of those to really damage you and damage your movement.
It's amazing to think 10 years ago how infrequently that weapon was used.
Yeah, I mean, the game continues to evolve. Nothing stays the same. And that's one of those techniques that's very prevalent right now. I don't know how long it'll stay that way, but right now everybody's using it.
Hooker continuing to stalk his prey.
Iaquinta's landed 2 big right hands this round. 2 big hooks from the southpaw position.
Oh, nice left from Al Iaquinta, trying to sort of finagle his way into the pocket.
He's having much more success this round because he's having a better time getting in close on Dan Hooker. But he cannot go conventional. The moment he goes conventional, he takes those low leg kicks. And the visual's so bad. You know, every time he takes one of those kicks, he's limping, he's buckling. You can't do that.
Well, catch the all-new UFC Live each and every Friday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, 2:30 p.m. Pacific, only on ESPN2. It's a weekly 30-minute show to get you primed for all the Saturday night action, plus the latest news and information from around the sport. UFC Live, Fridays on ESPN2.
I mean, that's great takedown defense by Dan Hooker, a guy who does not have a wrestling background. Does a good job of stuffing the head and shoving weight forward, forcing Al Iaquinta's head to the ground. Oh, nice finish there. Al set up, we call that an Iranian wrestling. Put the guy up on your shoulders. Now he needs to start trying to get the angle if he's going to finish his takedown with Dan Hooker. Oh, way to feed your hips by Dan. Al had his hands locked, but he was on his butt, so Dan Hooker just fed him his hips. It forced Al to go back instead of falling straight on his back.
Big round 1 for Dan Hooker. Al Iaquinta has come back a little bit here in round 2. Iaquinta would appear to be in survival mode here. Nice elbow from Hooker. Well, they call him the Hangman because he loves chokes. Not much time to find one here.
Iaquinta's doing a great job with his half guard. He's trying to sweep as he turns back into Dan Hooker. He'll attack this leg lock. Ankle lock right here.
10 minutes down. Big moment there for Hooker late in round 2.
Breathe. How we feeling? Look,
it's a better round, but we're down.
We're doing great. But that's...
Big right hook by Dan Hooker. Al Iaquinta threw a punch. Hooker evaded, threw that big right hook and dropped him in a very even round. That was a big moment for Dan Hooker.
I know you can do this, man. Let's go. Put your shit together.
Get in his face. We might have to eat 1 to give 2. You know what I'm saying? Eat 2 to get 1, but we got to be in his fucking face.
Breathe. Just breathe now. Breathe. He's tired too, man.
Half hook. Half right hand. Next up, right knee. 4 by 2.
That's snug then. Hands up. Tidy.
All right, round 3 is brought to you by P3, the official protein snack of the UFC. Matt Serra not mincing words with Al Iaquinta. They believe they are down 2-0. Iaquinta seemed to recover pretty well. He had his wits about him even before he had hit the canvas, didn't use the stool. But he's got some work cut out for him here in this 3rd and final round.
Yeah, he's got some work to do. He's behind in this fight, as his corner said. And he didn't sit because he probably doesn't sit during sparring, you know, so he's just kind of following the routine. You don't change things when you get to the octagon. But yes, he's down 2-0. Dan Hooker's fighting beautifully.
And you see Iaquinta just still moving gingerly due to that damage to his left leg.
And he can't fight in his best stance. I mean, he's having to fight southpaw. Obviously, he's decent at it, but that's not his preferred stance. He's a conventional side fighter. And right now, he's having to fight southpaw because every time he puts his left leg in front, Dan Hooker lands that beautiful low kick.
Hooker goes high. Iaquinta raises that left hand.
Matt Serra told Al, we may have to take one to give to, but you got to get in his chest and make it a fight.
Not only trying to enter the fray as he lands a right hand there, but trying to do so not in your preferred stance.
Yeah.
Easier said than done. You don't know how much he works out of that southpaw stance in training.
Yeah, but he's forced to do it now. You know, and nice elbow right there. Was that an elbow and tight there by Hooker?
Whatever it was, it wobbled Iaquinta briefly. Under 3.5 minutes now to go. Iaquinta lands to the body. Hooker with a left hook up top.
Dan Hooker is a sniper, man. He throws everything in so straight. No wasted actions. He doesn't load up. He just lets his striking flow.
That right hand has landed a couple times here recently for Dan Hooker.
He's the taller guy, and he's fighting behind the jab. He's fighting long, using that reach advantage to that big reach advantage he has. He's using it very good tonight.
The accuracy has been there, landing at a 52% clip.
John, I almost said using his reach advantage to his advantage.
Yeah, it's happened to me a time or two. Iaquinta really busted up. Nose bleeding into his mouth. And once again, that Hooker jab keeping him at bay. Ooh, that's a big right hand from Iaquinta. One and done, though.
And that's what he may have to do. Because he cannot start conventional, he may have to switch as he's attacking. He's really good at that. And maybe he can catch Dan with a shot that'll finish the night. But right now, that's essentially all he can do. He's behind in this fight. Behind through 2 rounds, and he's behind in this round. So he's got to try to finish.
Sniping jab there from Dan Hooker. Under 2 minutes now to go.
And not even breathing heavy. You know, if you fight Dan Hooker in a stand-up fight, he can do it all night long, man. He's fainting, trying to draw a reaction out of Iaquinta. Once he gets the reaction he wants, he'll fire that jab down the pipe and maybe follow up with a right hand.
Well, and he told us on Friday, right hand from Iaquinta. He's a 5-round fighter, and he's excited to have the chance potentially to test himself in a 5-round setting in the UFC.
And he wants to do that very soon. You know, he said that in January he heard rumors of a fight in his home country, and he would like to go fight in New Zealand.
Well, Iaquinta is certainly bit down on the mouthpiece, and he's staying in that pocket, trying to find his range. 1 minute now to go. Foot stomps raining down here inside this Marvel Stadium. 89-35 in terms of these significant strikes right now for Hooker.
Dan Hooker is fighting a fantastic fight. He's looking as good as he's looked in a real long time against a very tough opponent, a guy that's been around for a long time and has been in the octagon with the best the division has to offer.
Right.
And Dan Hooker seems to have wiped him out.
Right, guy who went 5 with Khabib, a guy who has main event experience in the UFC more than once. Ooh. Another crippling leg kick courtesy of Dan Hooker. As we come down the stretch in this co-main event, Robert Whittaker, Israel Adesanya waiting in the wings. Hooker trying to put the finishing touches on a largely dominant performance in the co-main event tonight against raging Al Iaquinta. This fight replay is brought to you by Nemerov, bold characters since 1872.
Those leg kicks really did dictate the fight. Dan Hooker landed over and over that low calf kick. And when Al tried to wrestle in the middle of his takedown defense, he made him pay by landing damage. And it was this big right hook that dropped Al. And look at the timing on that lead elbow. Dan Hooker fought as good a fight as he could have hoped for tonight in Australia. He asked for it, he got it.
And when you start to look at this wins list of Dan Hooker, we referenced it off the top of the co-main event, but to add Iaquinta to the likes of Vick and Burns and Miller and Jacasey, and if he does get the win tonight, it would be his first in the UFC by decision.
You know, I said in the beginning of the fight that Dan Hooker had his hands full, you know, with the #6 guy in the world, and he ranked 15th. But he made it look easy. He looked phenomenal tonight. He put it on Iaquinta. He dictated the pace. He busted him up. He fought the exact fight that he needed to. And this is a massive win for Dan Hooker. This is the performance that he needed to try to boost himself into the top 10 of the division.
Right. All right, the official decision brought to you by Metro by T-Mobile. Catch all the action with Metro by T-Mobile's knockout coverage and unlimited data with the scorecards now. Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. The judges scored the contest 30-27, 30-27, and 30-26 for the winner by unanimous decision, Dan the Hangman Hooker!
So a banner night continues for City Kickboxing. Dan Hooker now 6-1 at 155 pounds in the UFC. Huge effort tonight against the #6 ranked fighter in the world. I'd imagine you're going to enjoy watching this one back. Congratulations.
I'm going to announce my next fight. Dustin Poirier, I'm going to smash your face in. Meet me in New Zealand, 2020, and I'm going to end you.
There you have it, the Hangman, Dan Hooker.